The traditional summer job is quickly fading as a rite of passage for American teenagers. In the summer of 1978, 60% of teens either worked or looked for work. By last summer, that fell to only 35%. Derek Thompson of The Atlantic recently wrote about the reasons why and joins us now. Good morning. Happy Fourth.
Happy Fourth.
So we've learned your first summer job was as a tennis instructor, but
Yes.
that's not the area of expertise we're focusing on. You write in this article about several reasons why, and one of them is education. Why is education hurting teen work?
Yeah, I think there's this sense that when you look at the statistics, it seems like kids are just being lazy, right? Teenagers used to work during the summer, and now they're not. But in fact, if you look at the numbers, about 25% more of these teens are entering college, and that 25% is exactly the drop in the number of teens who are working summer jobs. So it appears to be a relatively one-for-one switch. They're less likely to work summer jobs, but they're more likely to study, to take summer classes, to take unpaid internships, which the government doesn't count as a job because it is in fact unpaid. And so they are keeping busy. They're just investing in their future, investing in their college education rather than working for that near minimum wage.
So is that a good thing, the fact that they're in the classroom?
I think it's a good thing. There's all sorts of studies that seem to suggest that there are certain soft skills that you learn when you do a summer job, that it can help you sort of build a sense of responsibility. But investing in your education is also responsible. And there's all sorts of evidence that suggests that people who go to and finish college are much more likely to make more money and be happy in their careers. So I see this as not an altogether bad thing. I think it's a positive development.
It's a good problem if you can afford it, right? I mean, a lot of kids, you're not making a ton of money, but some kids have to work to make that money. Do businesses still want to hire them, though? They're just not necessarily, the kids want to pursue the education instead.
Yeah, well, there's two interesting things happening at the macroeconomic level. First, you have an increase in low-skilled immigration and an increase in older workers working. And they tend to take a lot of these jobs, like in retail or in leisure and hospitality, that used to be sort of the province of teens during the summer. The second thing that's happening is that the minimum wage has increased a little bit recently, and some people think that there might be a job that you'd give a 17-year-old for, say, $5 an hour. But when the minimum wage is, say, $10, $15 an hour, you say, okay, I'm not going to hire a teenager to work this job.
You mentioned retail. We've seen a decline in actual brick and mortar stores. Has that had an impact also on the number that we're seeing working?
Yeah, it's definitely had an impact on the number of retail workers. The U.S. economy has lost 80,000 retail jobs since October of last year. That's more than the total number of steel workers in America. So you have enormous disruption happening in retail, and I wouldn't rule that out.
That was my first summer job.
Stick around, because Jeff's first job was making sandwiches. He's going to make sandwiches.
Hoagies.
Sorry, hoagies. There's a difference. Derek Thompson, thank you for joining us, my friend.
Thank you.